Welcome again, I'm Steve Holland with Rapid Tech, and in this course we're going to look at the model Trane TUD. This was an 80% furnace, American Standard or Trane, you can see the model number there. And this one's a little different, okay? This furnace was sent to me from a homeowner in central Wisconsin for an inspection. And I'll just share with you what I found with the inspection here in a minute. But one thing I want to share real quick, why training is so important, is because what we're going to see with this video and what we're going to see in this session is that sometimes what we think or what we see is not always the truth. So let's just go ahead and take a look. And again, with Rapid Tech, as you know, with all of our Rapid Tech courses, each course, you have to complete the course. You continue through the course to get your certification. There's a quiz after each course. But the key here is that we advocate for education in the skilled trades. That's really what we're after here. Let's go ahead and watch this quick little video. Now again, model TUD 050, this is an American Standard / Trane furnace. Here I am going up through the cells. There were 2 cells in this furnace. It's only a 50,000 BTU furnace. So I installed my camera, worked my camera into the furnace, started checking the seam. That's the rear hem. That's the rear hem of the back of that heat exchanger. And I was looking for any openings, fractures, looking to see if anything popped out at me. And I just couldn't find anything. Looking up there, you'll see where that curves. See that stamped metal? You can see the heat exchanger where it pops out. That's just basically they put that in a stamping press, and then that metal gets stamped out. That's designed actually to create resistance on the heat that's leaving those burners so that you can get more heat out of that heat exchanger. So there's cell 1. Here's cell 2. Maybe it was a 3-cell furnace. I don't know. I thought it was only a 2-cell. But I'm in the second cell, and I'm looking for something. Is there something that pops out? By the way, if you are going to find fractures on this heat exchanger, you'll find them right there, or you'll also find them anywhere that heat exchanger curves, where the metal makes a change. It's not straight, it curves. Yeah, it was a 2-cell. All right, so here we are in the studio, and I'm going to walk around to the back of the furnace, which I sawed open with a Sawzall. I'm going to tell you why this happened. So I peeled her back because I couldn't find anything from the inside, and I couldn't get my camera up inside between where that metal was stamped. But here I'm going to check the seam. That little opening on the bottom is not a fracture or an opening, by the way. I checked it. I checked the seam here, couldn't find anything. Then I started to check the where that stamping, where that process, and then right in here is where you might find fractures. I checked all that. By the way, you're only seeing one video. There are 3 videos of me inspecting this furnace. So basically what I'm going to share with you, I'll just stop it, is that I checked everything on this furnace. Now, the homeowner, a contractor condemned this furnace and said that they had a cracked heat exchanger. So they bought a new furnace. Now, the contractor, according to the homeowner, I always have to say according because you know how it works. Sometimes what the homeowner says and what the technician says, it's like sitting around the campfire and playing that game telephone. By the time the story gets back around, you start out with 1 cat, and by the time you get around 8 people, you've got now 4 dogs, 2 cats, a donkey, and a horse. That's just how that works. So the homeowner did say, according to them, that the contractor said, or the technician that was there said, you have a cracked heat exchanger, and you could get carbon monoxide and shut it off. Now, what stimulated this call was a no heat, and it was an ignition module failure. And so he sent it to me to inspect it, and I inspected it, and I couldn't find anything. And why did this happen? Well, here's why it happened. Number 1, it could be that the technician just saw something that they thought was a problem. So here's my advice. Technicians, I learned the hard way from this, and I'm going to tell you my story in a minute. If you see something in a heat exchanger or something in a furnace that could be in what we call an area of concern, you make sure that it is an area of concern. You double check it, triple check it, or get a second opinion from somebody else at your company to make sure that what you think you see is truly a problem. That's number 1. Number 2 is you need to get the training. So owners that are watching this, business owners that own HVAC companies, train your techs. Training is so important. Get your technicians trained. Do you realize that the Rapid Tech program was never started to be a business? We started the Rapid Tech program in our company back in 2008, 2009, and it was called TDP. It was called Technician Development Program, or Technician Development Plan. We have two names for it. Strictly so that we could develop technicians quickly. So we'd get them out of tech school, we'd bring them into our program, we'd develop them. Today, it's a business where we offer this technician development program to contractors and to individuals seeking to get into the HVAC trade. We also offer it to some tech schools as not an alternative, but a supplemental program to what they teach. But either way, training is huge. Get your technicians trained and make sure that they have the proper tools. That's the other thing. So the other thing that could have happened here, so one, technician may have seen something that he thought was a problem. Turned out not to be. Two, it could be that we have a technician that's not trained properly. Three, we could have technicians that are over-spiffed. Look, you're going to hear me say it right here. I have no problem with contractors having incentives in place or bonuses or commissions to pay their technicians for additional products and services that are offered in their company. I have no problem with it. Matter of fact, at one of the companies I own, we have some of that go on. Not all of it, some of it. Here's why. If you incentivize everything you do, you could create unethical technicians. And if you don't have good management in place where you're not checking them and making sure that they're honest and ethical, it will be a problem in your business, trust me. So I have no problem with a base wage plus performance-based pay. I'm all for that. Matter of fact, I think we need more of a performance-based opportunities in our businesses today so that technicians can take all of their training and education and apply it, but yet they're rewarded for that good conduct and that good work and that good identification and doing the right thing. Finding failures in heat exchangers and protecting customers and making sure customers are safe. And if that turns out to be an opportunity for something else and you throw them $10, $20, whatever. But here's where I draw the line. If that technician starts to become greedy or unethical, that's where you've got a problem in your business. Could that have happened here? Absolutely, it may have happened. I don't know. I'm just giving you guys scenarios so that you business owners out there can learn from it, and you technicians that are out there, that if you're being told by your boss to go out and find a bunch of problems and we'll pay you for it, that's wrong. That's not your job. Your job is to go out there and do what your job is to do, and that is to properly service equipment, give the customer a good experience. We teach all that in our Rapid Tech program. And by the way, if there's truly a problem with this furnace, I'm okay if you're spiffed for, identifying and turning into more of an opportunity or a sale for the business. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you search for those problems and problems come to the surface that aren't problems. So they're the phantom, mysterious cracked heat exchanger issues. Again, I'm not saying that happened in this case. I'm just giving you scenarios. The last thing could be there's no guarantee. What does that mean? Business has to have a guarantee that puts their money where their mouth is so that technicians don't do this and so that management knows they're doing the right thing. I had a customer in our hometown where one of our techs accidentally, mistakenly identified a failed heat exchanger. Customer got a quote from us, got a second quote. The second quote came in, was cheaper. The guy said, "You don't have a cracked heat exchanger. They're just telling you a bunch of nonsense." Customer still decided to buy a new furnace. So they bought their new furnace from the competitor, which I'm trying to figure out if there wasn't a bad heat exchanger, why would you go buy a new furnace? But can't argue with the customer. And they called us up and were mad. They were angry. They were going to take us to court and sue us and all this. Which, by the way, if they would have, they probably would have lost. Because we have a guarantee in place that says at my company, if we misdiagnose your system and your heat exchanger, and let's say we sell you a new heat exchanger and we find out that the other one wasn't bad, we'll not only give you your money back for the heat exchanger, but we'll write you a check for $500. Sorry, we made a mistake. Well, this customer was mad and they threatened, and I'm like, I'm just not going to fight with the customer. Whether I think they're right or wrong, regardless, we did make a mistake. We screwed up. We misidentified. So I went over there with a check for $3,300 and I handed it to him and said, I'm sorry we made a mistake. Here's a check for your brand new furnace. Now that was 5 years ago. They're still using that furnace to this day. They've benefited from all the utility bill reduction, because they went to a more efficient system. And they got it for free. All because my technician made a mistake. Now, some of you watching this would say, you're stupid, Steve. You should have never done that. You maybe should have offered him $500. Whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I have a conscience. And I'm a very ethical person, and our company is ethical. And if we make a mistake, we're going to own up to it. That's the bottom line. So the whole purpose of showing you this video is so that you can get your technicians trained, so that you can do the right thing. And here's the deal. If you screw up, just tell your customers, I screwed up. I made a mistake, and make it right for them. If you got to buy a furnace once in a lifetime, that's the only furnace I've ever had to buy a customer, by the way, in 27 years. One. If I had to buy one customer a furnace in 27 years, is that the end of the world? No. Now, they still don't use us. They still don't like us. And they may even badmouth our business. But here's what I do know. I can go to my bed each night with my head on the pillow, knowing that we did the right thing. Now, they have the choice. They can put their head on the pillow and say, they made it right. They screwed up, but they made it right. That's what I wanted to come out of this video. So, for what it's worth, I hope you guys learned something. Again, Steve Holland with Rapid Tech. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at ethoskill@gmail.com. Our Rapid Tech program is a technician development program designed to help companies and help individuals solve some of the skilled labor shortages. We're not a training company. We don't want to compete with tech schools. We like tech schools. Matter of fact, a lot of the students in tech school that come out of tech schools, we hire them, they work for a company, and they go through this program as basically a supplemental to what they learned. But the Rapid Tech program, it's the only thing in the country like it. You won't find anything else like it. It's a process that we developed back in 2008, 2009. Had a different name back then, was never intended to be a business, but it's successful, and it works. So if you're looking to get technicians in trucks quickly, and you're looking to develop technicians the proper way, we have the proper way. I'm just showing you a couple of videos out of the course, but there's a whole nother part to it that's even better. So for what it's worth, I'm Steve Holland with Rapid Tech. Have a fantastic day. Thank you.